The Disappearance of Bryce Laspisa, the boy who drove into the unknown. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed, because what you're about to hear is one of the strangest missing person cases in modern American history. A story with witnesses, evidence, and yet no ending. This is the case of Bryce Laspisa, the boy who drove into the unknown. It began like any ordinary college week. August 28, 2013, 19-year-old Bryce Laspisa, a sophomore at Sierra College in Rocklin, California, had just finished his summer break. Friends described him as charismatic, creative, and a little restless. He studied graphic design, loved video games, and had recently begun experimenting with alcohol and a new prescription stimulant called Vyvanse, a focus enhancer popular among students. That Wednesday night, Bryce called his girlfriend, Kim Sly, from his apartment. The call started normal, but quickly turned strange. Kim said he sounded agitated, distant, not like himself. He told me he loved me, but kept saying, "You'll be better off without me." It was the first red flag. The night drive. At 9 p.m., Bryce left Rocklin, saying he was driving back to his parents' home in Laguna Niguel, about 450 miles south. It should have been a 7-hour trip. But something happened along the way. Surveillance footage from a gas station in Buttonwillow, roughly halfway between Rocklin and Orange County, shows Bryce buying a drink at 11:47 p.m. He appears calm, casual, wearing a baseball cap. That timestamp would later become the center of the investigation, because after that moment, everything stopped making sense. Bryce never arrived home. The pause in Buttonwillow. The next morning, his mother, Karen Laspisa, woke to missed calls and a growing panic. She phoned his number repeatedly. No answer. Finally, at 9 a.m., a man named Christian, a roadside assistance driver, called her. He said he'd met Bryce early, that morning on the side of the road near Buttonwillow. Bryce's car had run out of gas, and he'd helped refill it. He seemed fine, the driver said. But he just sat there. For hours. Security cameras from a nearby truck stop later confirmed it. Bryce stayed in that same spot for almost 13 hours, from late night until mid-afternoon, just sitting in his car, alone. No one knows why. When his mother called him around noon, Bryce sounded exhausted but coherent. "I'm coming home," he said. "I just need some time to clear my head." It was the last normal conversation she'd ever have with him. The descent. At 2 p.m., Bryce finally left Buttonwillow, heading south. But by midnight, he was still on the road, somewhere near Castaic Lake, barely 2 hours from home. What he did for those 10 hours is unknown. At 2:08 a.m., Bryce called his mother one final time. He said he was too tired to drive and would sleep in his car. The next call never came. The crash. At dawn on August 30th, a trucker spotted an overturned vehicle at the bottom of a steep embankment near Castaic Lake. It was Bryce's 2003 Toyota Highlander. The rear window had been smashed out from the inside, his phone and laptop still inside, along with his wallet and ID. The airbags had deployed, but there was no blood, no Bryce. Search teams combed the area. Helicopters, drones, divers. Bloodhounds traced his scent from the crash site up a hill to a rest stop, and then it vanished. No footprints, no body, no sign of struggle. To investigators, it looked like he had escaped the crash alive and walked away into the wilderness. The theories begin. The evidence was baffling. His phone and laptop were found neatly placed in the car. The seatbelt was unbuckled. His footprints led away from the wreck for just a few yards before stopping. Detectives believed he may have been disoriented after the crash, possibly suffering a concussion or emotional break. But his parents refused to believe. He simply wandered off. Friends recalled that Bryce had been behaving erratically the week before, giving away his possessions, telling people he didn't need them anymore. Some speculated he planned to start over somewhere new. Others feared self-harm. Yet neither theory fit completely. If Bryce wanted to disappear, why crash his car so dramatically? If he intended suicide, where was the body? The lake was searched for weeks. Nothing. The sightings. Then came the reports. A man matching Bryce's description was spotted walking down an access road near the lake 2 days later. Another driver reported a young man appearing dazed near a rest area off Interstate 5. Each lead sparked hope, and then vanished like smoke. The case grew colder by the day. News outlets called him the boy who drove into the unknown. Online forums erupted with theories: amnesia, drugs, a cult, even staged disappearance. But investigators focused on what they could prove: his movements, captured on camera, ending abruptly at 11:47 p.m., the timestamp that marked the end of Bryce's known life. The parents' search. For years, Karen and Michael Laspisa kept searching. They distributed flyers, organized volunteer searches, even hired private detectives. Every call that came through, every report of a red-haired young man wandering California, pulled them back into the nightmare. Karen once said in an interview, "It's like he's out there somewhere walking, but the world forgot how to see him." In 2015, a decomposed body was found near Castaic Lake, sparking national headlines. DNA tests later confirmed it wasn't Bryce. Hope flickered again, but as time passed, hope turned into endurance. Unanswered questions. Investigators pieced together Bryce's final 36 hours. The timeline was precise, yet meaningless. Asterisk August 28th, leaves campus. Asterisk 11:47 p.m., CCTV at Buttonwillow gas station. Asterisk 9 a.m., spotted by roadside assistants. Asterisk 2 p.m., drive south. Asterisk 2 a.m., last call home. Asterisk 5 a.m., car crash. And then nothing. His cell records show no calls after 2 a.m., no new pings, no purchases. The car's black box confirmed it was accelerating before the crash, not braking, as if someone had intentionally driven off the embankment. Was it a cry for help? A moment of madness? Or a calculated vanishing act? The legacy. A decade later, Bryce Laspisa remains missing. His parents still drive up to Castaic every year on the anniversary of his disappearance, leaving flowers near the crash site. They refuse to call it closure. "Until we know," his mother says, "we can't move on." The case has become a haunting modern legend, a story of a young man who seemed to unravel in slow motion while the cameras rolled. Some believe he's alive, living off-grid, rebuilding his life under a new name. Others think he perished that night, hidden somewhere the searchers never reached. But perhaps the most unsettling thought is the simplest one, that he didn't want to disappear. He just kept driving until the road ended, and the dark took over. To this day, Castaic Lake remains a place of mystery. Locals say you can still see faint tire tracks where Bryce's car went over the edge. At night, the wind howls through the canyon like a voice calling from below. Maybe it's just the wind, or maybe it's a reminder that some stories never stop moving, even when the people in them are gone. If this story left you uneasy, hit subscribe, tap the bell icon, and stay with me. Because next time, we'll uncover another disappearance, one even more chilling, and even harder to explain. Because somewhere, right now, someone else has just vanished.